All right. I was trying not to make a long video title, but I just said, okay, to hell with it. So while I was reading and going over some stuff I had to do for this class, online class I have, the song popped in my head, "Duel of the Iron Mike," and this a song by Jizza of Wu Tang Clan. It's just something that popped in my head. I thought about, picture bloodbath and elevator shaft with his murderers rhyme tight from genuine class. Check the print. Swear veterans, spark the lettering. Slow moving MCs is waiting for the editing, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I thought about that, and then I thought about when I was listening to some of the Wignats and how it's interesting how, all these sorts of, you know, white supremacist sorts of folks, and then they'll know all about hip hop. They'll be like, oh yeah, well, you had good old Eric Stryker, and of course he was talking about, I remember this one rapper, Killer Priest, another Wu Tang affiliate, was all about, we was Kangs and stuff like that, or we're the real Israelites and stuff like that. And it's amazing to me that this kind of thought of all these racial folks, and yet they're still products of the American system, just like me. Where they'll talk about UGK, Underground Kings. Rest in peace to Pimp C, of course. And it's interesting, of course, as much as they may say the N word or feel like, whichever racial biases they have, they are still products of that system. This is something that's very big. I think that, with hip hop and race, obviously you can't really talk about that subject without not talking about people like Eminem, Marshall Mathers III, who, once, 1998, 1999, he obviously had Infinite, I think, which is like 97, he put that out. And, all the troubles that he went through. And then, of course, Slim Shady LP, and you had songs like, Kim, or not Kim, I'm sorry, Just the Two of Us. And you, of course, had, Role Model, Don't You Want to Grow to Be Just Like Me? And, of course, My Name Is, and all that business. And, of course, rock songs like Rock Bottom and everything else like that. And, it's one of those cultural moments for millennials like me, who, as much as, we may be like, oh, yes, well, I'm above this hip hop music, but put on something from Eminem. Any cracker that's my age or around my age, if like in, the 30s range, come on. If you put on something like, I don't know, put on, Real Slim Shady, you think they're not going to be rapping, y'all act like you never seen a white person before, jaws on the floor like Pam and Tommy just burst in the door and started whooping her ass worse than before, first a divorce, sewn over furniture. It's a return of the, oh, wait, no, wait, you're kidding. He didn't just say what I think he did he? And Dr. Dre said, nothing, you idiots. Dr. Dre's daddy's locked in my basement, haha, you got to excuse me because it just comes out. It just comes out. I've listened to these songs for so long, I'll just, you just think about it. And it's something that's deep in there. It's the same thing with Wu-Tang, like I say, with Jizza, you think about, another song, I want to say it's the Fourth Chamber from Enter the Wu-Tang, where he goes, the Wu is coming through. The outcome is critical. Fucking with my style is sort of like a miracle. A 34th Street could have swear I'm Harold. I gained Ella. The bitch caught a fist like Dean Ferrara, who was a Sarah, but the hoe didn't win. But the sun will still come out tomorrow and shine, shine, shine like Bo 9. Here comes a drunk monk with a quarter Valentine. Pass a bone, kid, pass a bone. Let's get on this mission like Indiana Jones, the Jizza, one who just represents the Wu-Tang clique. But the game is sold like an old. I'm sorry. You gotta cut me. I gotta cut myself off. But yeah. like the Mac and Dolomite, who both did biz. Claudia went to Coolia High and had mad kids, so stop. The life you save might be a motherfucking own. I'll hang your ass with this microphone. Make way for the merging traffic. Wu-Tang's coming through with full metal jackets. Might as well finish the verse now, but yeah. And basically, he says, Bernhard gets what he deserves. Clan in the front. Let your feet stomp. On the left. Anxious to death. Hoodies on my right. Wild for the night. Punks in the back. Come on and attract to what? You know. But that's something that I can't really escape from. And as much as even these Wignats, people like Eric Stryker, they can't escape what they were. They can talk about all the white power music they've listened to, but they can't escape those things. And I think Marx in the House, I think, was one of the bigger guys, in the political YouTube sphere, even though he, more of the Maoist and obviously left-wing sort of idea, although Maoists may not identify themselves as left-wing. Same thing as a lot of MLs. They say, I'm not left-wing, I'm just ML. But, he has talked about the issues of hip-hop and how it's changed. But I think that, it's about influence and about how people used it. It was seen as a form of rebellion, but it was also a sense of culture that hip hop, although has West African roots, is something that is identified with the United States. It's something that, you hear about Russia and they're like, yes, this awful hip hop comes from the United States and comes from Black folks, African Bambaataa in the Bronx, right? Once again, I mean, let's not bring up that argument. But it's like, the whole, the bridge is over, all that business, But it's something that as much as you try to hide it, you can't escape. If you're an American and if you're a millennial like me, you can't deny the influence of people like Eminem or Wu-Tang Clan or people like like Bone Thugs and Harmony or whoever you want to name, Big Daddy Kane, et cetera, the influence that they had in people's minds, or even Notorious B.I.G. Like I say, let's include some more rap, shall we? Let's include some more lyrics. But I used to get feels on the bitch. Now I throw shields on the dick. To throw my throw shields on the dick to stop me from my HIV shit. And know the soft, and brothers know they soft like a Twinkie feeling, playing the villain, prepare for this rap killing. Biggie Smalls is the illest. Your style is played out like Arnold. What you talking about, Willis? The thrill is gone. The black Frank White is here to excite. Throw dick to dice. Brothers are like them brainless. Oh yeah, women. Bitches are like them brainless. Guns are like them stainless steel. I want the fucking fortune like the wheel. And just comes out of me because I've heard it for so long. But I chose to. It was something that you can just listen to. And it's just something that's so buried in there, And while I have trouble with the lyrics here a little bit, and I'm kind of shivering a little bit, but it's something that's still in me. It's something that you can't really get rid of. That's the whole thing. It's like if you're Chinese, you're always going to be Chinese. If you're an American, you're always going to be an American. And you can lie to yourself and say, I'm European, or, white power, or this and that. Come on. You can't deny when you used to smoke weed with your black friend, listening to, I don't know, Insane Clown Posse or something like, I don't know, or whatever, listening to that back in the late 90s, early 2000s, or even people like Zero, the rapper from Houston, or whoever. That's the whole thing. You can't, like I say, and people do that because they do become racist, or they see all the footage of black folks beating up white kids and whatnot. And so they think that they can identify with this, and they try to make that jump. But they know where they come from. I'm not saying this is we're going to all build harmony and whatnot. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying is that inside of them, inside of these so-called white supremacists, they can't really escape their upbringing, you know? And I think that, there is truth to the fact that it's like, yeah, racism is something that's learned. It's not something that's born in you, but it's something that does exist, and it's very, you try to separate who you are from what you think you can make yourself better of. That's the whole thing, or who you identify with. So I don't know. I know that this is complicated. It's a very complicated situation, but I think that it's interesting to think about. And so while they can talk all day about Hortler and all those issues, is that if you if you really push them on these things, particularly millennials like me, they were still influenced by those things. And I think that they can try to hide it, and they can try to, make their excuses for it, but they are a product of it just as much as anybody else is, And they'll even say, even Ice Cube. Let's go ahead and bring it back to that. Like, still got my vote in Farrakhan for president, even though Ice Cube only went to the Nation of Islam a couple times, and now, of course, he's a big movie star and everything else like that. And even though he'll try to bring it up and tries to bring those issues up, is that in general, he knows where he gets his money from. He's not gonna go out on a limb for those guys. So it's like, but yeah, it's interesting to think about with the racial aspect of it. So as much as people may have not been listening to X Clan or listening to more Afrocentric type stuff or conscious rap, people like Dead Prez or something like that. They were still influenced by it. I think that's interesting to think about. I didn't really talk much necessarily about race to a point, but there were little bits in there. Just listen for it and try to read between the lines, kids. So hopefully y'all enjoy that. See you later, and goodbye.